Hey everyone, welcome back to another farm video. Today we are going to be building what I believe to be the most efficient starter iron farm there is, and it produces 400 iron per hour. This farm can also be built underground. For all my Bedrock Player subscribers, I have some bad news. This farm will not work on your game, as this is a Java Edition iron farm. However, I have a Bedrock iron farm on my channel, so you guys can go check that one out. So everyone grab your blueprints, grab your mouses, and let's head over to where we are going to start building this farm. Now that we are at our build site, let's open our blueprint and take a look at the resources we are going to use. These resources here can be any building block of your choice. I just use these blocks to make the farm look a little bit cleaner. So we are going to need a total of 51 quartz blocks, 58 blackstone walls, 64 dirt, 10 glass, 1 soul sand, 14 fence gates, 5 crimson fence gates, 3 beds, 8 ladders, 2 trapdoors, 6 chests, 4 hoppers, 64 torches, 2 buckets of water and a bucket of lava, 3 villagers, 1 name tag, and 1 zombie. If you don't have lava or crimson fence gates, you will need 2 campfires and 10 slabs. Now that we know the resources we are going to use, let's put our blueprints in our back pocket, put our nail bags on, and let's build this farm. The total area of the iron farm is an 11 by 16 area, so please take this into account before you construct this farm. To start the construction of this farm, we want to dig out a 2x1 area in the middle of our farm. So now that we have our center point, we want to dig out 3 blocks to the left and the right. So now we want to swing around 90 degrees and we want to dig out 5 blocks to the left and then 5 blocks to the right. So now that we have our 4 points, we want to dig out the entire area that we've marked out. We now want to create an infinite water source. To do this, dig out a 3x1 area and place a water bucket on the right side and a water bucket on the left. This will allow us to continue to take buckets of water from this point so we don't have to go to an ocean. So let's grab 2 of our 4 hoppers and find the middle of our dugout area. So come in 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is the center point for the left and the right. Then come in 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and dig out these 2 blocks here and put hoppers facing downwards. The next step is to grab our water buckets and place a water bucket in each of the 4 corners. So now let's work on how we're going to kill our golems. There are 2 techniques we can use to kill iron golems. We can either use lava buckets or campfires. If you use normal fence gates for the lava technique, the gates will burn and the lava will spread. So you will need to go to the nether to get the crimson wood or the warped wood. However, some of you may not have been to the nether yet, so I'm going to show you what you can do with campfires. If you are using the campfire technique, you will need 10 slabs and 2 campfires. So for the campfire technique, we want to dig out our 2 hoppers that we just placed. Then make this hole 1 block deeper and place your hoppers facing downwards like this. Then on top of those hoppers, we'll place our 2 campfires. We now want to dig out a 4x3 area around the campfires. So now we want to grab our slabs and we want to place these as bottom slabs all the way around the campfires. This simply allows the iron golems to drop down that extra half a block so they get burnt by the campfires. So guys, that is the campfire technique to kill your iron golems. Now I'm going to show you how you can use a lava bucket and your crimson fence gates to kill your iron golems. So if you are doing this step, you want to revert back to having your hoppers on top of the surface. So grab your temporary blocks and place a block on top of the hopper. Then on top of that temporary block, place a fence gate and open it up. Then to the left and the right of this fence gate, we want to place a temporary block. Now place 2 more fence gates on top of those temporary blocks and open them up. So now we want to place a temporary block there and come on the other side and we want to place another temporary block right there. Once again, on top of these temporary blocks, we want to place fence gates and then open them up. We can now remove our dirt blocks. Simply just grab your bucket of lava and place it in the middle, and as you will see, the lava will not spread. The gates will also not burn because you're using wood from the nether. So the next phase of this iron farm is to build our villager cells. Let's grab our temporary blocks, jump into the water stream, look at this left-hand hopper, which is opposite to the lava stream, skip a block, and then place a temporary block on top of that block. So now we want to bring this up 16 more blocks, making it a total of 17. Now that we're up our 17 blocks, we want to place a soul sand on top of our 17th block. So our soul sand is now down, so we want to place another temporary block on top of the soul sand. Grab your building blocks and place a block behind, to the left, and then to the right. Bring these blocks another block high. So we now want to put our glass into the equation and put glass on top of these quartz blocks. On top of those glass blocks, we want to place another quartz block. Before we remove this temporary block, we want to place a 2x1 platform out from the front. You can then remove your temporary block. Grab your temporary blocks again and place one temporary block right there. Out from that temporary block, place a piece of glass. Below that piece of glass, place your trapdoor. You can now remove this temporary block inside. On the end of our 2x1 platform, we want to place temporary blocks to the left and then the right and then one on the end. Bring these blocks another block out. These temporary blocks are the exact location we want our villagers' beds. So grab your beds and place beds on top of the dirt blocks. Then you can remove those dirt blocks. With your remaining glass, you want to place glass on top of the beds. This is what your zombie and villager cell should look like. So now that our villager cell is completely ready to host its villagers, we want to build a staircase all the way up to those beds so we can drop these guys inside their villager cell. To build your staircase, you can simply use your temporary blocks and just build up a staircase like I'm doing. Here is the side view of the staircase to help you guys out a little bit more if those instructions were a little bit unclear. So we now want to get our villagers in place. The easiest way to transport your villagers from this point all the way to their beds is to actually wait until nighttime. So it is now nighttime, guys, and the villagers are ready to be transported into their beds. Villagers are usually a massive nightmare to deal with, so to get them from this point to this point, we just need to line them up in front of this staircase, and then we can simply remove the block in front of them, and they should have the green particle effect where he will lock onto a bed, and then he should travel all the way up to this staircase where he will find his bed. As you see right there. He will make his way all the way to the top of the staircase and then sleep in the beds that are up there. As you can see, he is now sleeping in one of those 3 beds. So we now want to transport our remaining 3 villagers by doing the same technique into those 3 beds. So as you can see, all 3 of our villagers are now awake because it's daytime and they're in that 1x1 cell. So our villagers are now in place, which means the next step is to get our zombie in place. So before we grab our zombie, we want to place a water bucket down on top of the soul sand. The next step is to protect our villagers, so we want to place a temporary block on top of their heads. While you're at it, place another block to the left of it. Then jump on top of these 2 blocks and place another temporary block to the left and then to the right. So our zombie wants to be dropped down into this 1x1 hole. So to make it as easy as possible, we'll want to place 2 blocks high out the back, and then to the left and the right, we want to do the same thing. Bring those blocks out another 1. Then the final thing is to grab your last trapdoor and then place it against this glass and then open it. We now want to wait until nighttime to lure our zombie over. So it is now nighttime, guys, and as you can see, we have our zombie following us. So before we put him up this staircase, we want to make sure that he doesn't despawn. To make sure he doesn't despawn, you either want a name tag or an item, and if he picks up that item, he won't despawn. So as you can see, this zombie does not want to pick up the item, so if you are using this technique, you are going to need a different zombie. However, for this tutorial, we're going to use a name tag. So we're going to name him Oliver. So if your name is Oliver, please let me know in the comments below. So we have now right-clicked and name tagged him as Oliver, and we're going to now bring him up the staircase. We now want to quickly remove this block right here, and then place it back. And then we want to lure him in. He will try and pathfind to us using the trapdoor. He will stay there, and the last step is you want to quickly run around and then punch him down. So our zombie is now in place, so we want to remove this trapdoor and then place a temporary block right there so he doesn't burn and an iron golem can't kill him. You can then remove the rest of the dirt blocks. So for now, our iron golem will spawn on the staircase. That is okay for now, as long as you don't hit him. So this brings us to our next step. We want to work on the area where the golems are going to spawn and fall down. So start by placing a temporary block on top of the villagers' heads. On top of the temporary block, we want to place a building block right there, and then to the right, we want to place another building block. This is our center point. So to the right of the center point, we want to come 3 blocks. So 1, 2, and 3. On the left-hand side of the center block, we want to also come 3 blocks. So this is 1, destroy the temporary block, place a block, and then place another block, and that's 3. Now turn 90 degrees, and from this block, we want to come out 2 blocks to the left, and then 2 blocks to the right. So we now have our 4 points, so we want to fill it all in. The area of your platform should be 5 by 8. So the 2 sides that are 8 blocks long, we want to place a temporary block on the outside of it. On top of those temporary blocks, place a wall block. You can now remove those 2 temporary blocks and then place wall blocks all the way along that 8 block line. Grab your temporary blocks again and place temporary blocks on all 4 corners of the platform. So we now want to grab our fence gates and we want to place 7 on each side. So to do this, we want to place 1 on the end of the black stone, and then we want to repeat that process all the way along. You can now remove these 4 temporary blocks, and then you can open up your fence gates. So we now want to get our water in place so the iron golems can fall out both sides. So we're going to need 2 rows of water by 5. So that equals up to 10 buckets of water. However, we can make an infinite water source up here so we don't have to go all the way down to the bottom. So the next step is we want to locate our 2 center points. So to do this, come in 1, 2, 3, and this is a center point, and then 1, 2, and 3, and then this is our center point. We want to place water buckets all in these 2 lines, including these 2 dirt blocks. So as you can see, there is no still water and both sides are flowing evenly. We can now destroy all dirt pillars and staircases. So we now want to jump back down to the bottom and place a stone wall all the way around the water. So the last step is to get our storage in place. So we want to come directly in line with the hoppers and dig down 4 blocks. Now that we've come down our 4 blocks, we want to dig all the way to the hoppers. So we've now exposed our hoppers, so we want to clear out a little bit of an area around them so we have a little bit of space to work around with. For our storage, we're going to place a double chest directly below the hoppers. Then rotate 90 degrees and place 2 more double chests like this. Then come behind those double chests and place 2 more hoppers facing into those chests. So that is our storage area. So to get out, place your 8 ladders. One of the last things I recommend you to do is to light up around the iron farm so that no mobs can spawn and blow up your farm or cause you any dramas. So as you can see, the iron golems are spawning very frequently and they are not dropping outside the stone wall fences. This farm is highly efficient, so you should see an iron golem spawning every 20 to 40 seconds. So we AFK'd this farm for a total of 1 hour and the golems are spawning regularly without any troubles. And in 1 hour it produced a total of 415 iron. This farm took me less than half an hour to build and it generates 400 iron per hour. I honestly don't think that there is a more efficient starter iron farm out there. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you require any further help with this farm, be sure to either comment below or join my personal Discord and we will be sure to help you out. So thank you guys for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.